In our last episode, we covered the roughly 650 miles north from Barra de Navidad to La Paz for Mexico's upcoming hurricane season. This time around, we take care of some maintenance and pick up supplies to give out as we make our way north. Well, we made it to La Paz, and we're going to be here for a few weeks, waiting for my toes to heal before heading north up into the Sea of Cortez. And while we're here, we've got a bunch of boat projects to do. Nothing major, just some maintenance and that sort of thing. And I was actually going to start doing that today, but there's something going on shore. We got to go check it out. So boat projects are going to wait till tomorrow, and fun is going to happen right now. All the commotion on shore turned out to be the start of a 300-mile off-road race that started on the city streets of La Paz. Brenda said I could get one. It's going on the boat. This one's been wrecked, so I think it's a good deal. Are you excited?
No. We don't have any place to put it. You're going to have to get rid of your bike.
Okay. We're getting it. We're getting it. And then the city streets of La Paz turned into a race course. Me? Well, I was rooting for this guy, only because he looked an awful lot like my first car. After blowing off work for a day, it was time to take care of some needed maintenance. So first, going to service the engine, going to change the oil, fuel filters, and the alternator belt. So all pretty easy stuff. Do have an electric oil pump, which makes the oil change pretty simple. Off we go. Had a few questions about how much time we spend motoring versus sailing. So I just did the math, and it works out to about 80% of those miles are covered under sail. We generally plan all of our passages to maximize sailing. That always doesn't work out. And sometimes we just do short hops where the weather's flat calm and motoring makes sense. But for the most part, we try to sail. Well, that's it for the oil change. Next up, I'm going to swap the primary filter and alternator belt. And then we'll be off to something else. Brenda's figuring out how to make some bike bags. She's got some sewing stuff going on.
Yep.
Are you excited?
I'm not excited about making bike bags, no. But it needs to be done, otherwise they're going to get all rusty.
Our little folding bikes have been one of the best purchases we've made while cruising. Not only do they open up miles that our feet wouldn't happily carry us, they're pretty fun to ride around on too. But carrying them to and from shore in the dinghy, well, they tend to get a little sprayed with salt water. So Brenda made us some bags to protect them from the spray. While Brenda was working on the bags, I was outside working on other stuff. Next up, going to change the oil on the generator. Another simple thing, but it's got to be done. So the hardest part about changing the oil on this thing is actually just got to lean it over and dump it out. I used to have a workshop to do all this kind of stuff, but not anymore. So the small space on a boat, you just got to make do. And hope you don't dump it all over everything else. This little Honda generator, it powers our water maker, so it's pretty important to keep it in tip-top running shape. Alright, oil's done. Next thing is spark plug. Pretty simple. It's right on top. Right in there. Normal spark plug. In and out. Piece of cake. After a day of boat projects, we decided to take a break and head out for some shopping. It's the beginning of the shopping spree. Looking for soccer balls, probably a few basketballs, a few volleyballs. So if you actually chipped into our little fundraiser, thanks.
Thanks. Buying some balls for kids.
Yep, we're starting out. Got a lot of stuff to get, and we'll see how this goes. Not exactly sure how it's all going to fit in the boat yet, but
To make it work.
yep. On our way north, up the Sea of Cortez, we'd hoped to be able to deliver some stuff to needy kids along the way. Sort of like Santa Claus, only in summer. And with your help, we were able to do a whole lot more than we would have otherwise.
That's a lot of balls.
So, to those of you who chipped in, thanks. With a cart full of balls, we made our way over to the art and school supplies aisle and worked on filling up another cart.
What happened to the rubber cement where you could like sniff it? Like remember when we were kids? We got that rubber cement. You could put all over your hands and then you sniffed it a little bit too. I think it made kindergarten more exciting.
Once we cleaned out the art supplies aisle, we loaded up a taxi and then took a couple of trips in the dinghy to bring everything home.
How do you feel about your stuff?
To fit all the balls in the boat, they all had to be deflated. Surprisingly, this took me nearly the rest of the day. But it could have been because I was busy screwing around. Once we figured out where to put everything, well, the next day, it was back to work.
Yep.
Okay, today's service, the outboard day in La Paz. It's chilly. It's kind of weird. It's like 65 degrees out in Mexico. Not really prepared for this. But before we left, I guess a few years ago, we stockpiled a bunch of parts, vacuum packed them all, tons and tons of boat parts. So today we're going through some spark plugs for the outboard, going to change the oil and the oil in the lower unit. The old spark plugs, not in too bad a shape, but haven't changed them in a couple of years, so it's about time. Just like with the generator, the hardest part of changing the oil in the outboard is just finding a place to do it. And the lower unit, well, it was no different. I held on to the outboard while Brenda did all the dirty work. When the outboard was finished, I moved on to some other loose ends. I was having so much fun whipping lines that I worked my way around the entire boat. The next day, we were back to more shopping. We still had a bunch more supplies we'd hoped to get.
More coloring books.
And this guy here, well, he gave us a pretty good deal on a whole bunch of backpacks.
Special price for you.
Muchas gracias. Went on a big shopping spree. Actually, mostly Brenda did. How many stores did you go to?
I went to like 7 stores.
So we stocked up. Got a bunch of backpacks. And we're going to make some gift bags. So what we got going in this stuff, a lot of art supplies, and a lot of school supplies. So it'll be a fun time for some kid or some family. And with that, we started sorting. One down, 20 to go. And again, to those of you who chipped in, thanks. We couldn't have done near as much without your help. Well, had a pretty productive boat project day, got a bunch of junk done, but thought I'd show you a little interesting thing about La Paz here. Actually feels like we're at sea. I'll show you here. Got about 25 knots or so, but it's on the stern at the anchorage. Normally, with 25 knots of breeze, all the boats would be pointing in the same direction, but not here in La Paz. With about 3 knots of current going the opposite direction as the breeze, all the boats like to dance around. This is what's called the La Paz Waltz. And we got about a 4-foot chop in the anchorage, which makes it really feel like we're at sea. And that's about it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.